Okay, so here a little video on the width of a satin stitch. So most of the time we will be creating a satin stitch with one rail on one side and one rail on the other side, and then by creating pretty well perpendicular rungs, perpendicular rungs. No, it doesn't want to finish up there. I'm having a little bit of issues with my computer, but we'll see what happens here. It seems like the pen tool is giving me issues lately. Okay, there we go. So I'm using the pen tool for creating the rungs. That way you can just go one click here and one click here. And if you're using the Bezier tool in order to finish off your rung, you would have to double click. So then we go to the select tool, select all four, and we go path, combine, and I will go and create one extra line here for a moment, just to demonstrate something. So there I got one line, and I will set the width to 1.5 because that is a kind of the minimum width what we're always talking for doing for satin stitch. But there is a way that you can work with that, create a narrower line than the 1.5. But to accommodate for that, we would have to go and make a few little changes. So if I go here now, this one is 1.5, and then go extension, ink stitch, satin tools, convert line to satin. Then what we get is we get the two rails and we get one of the rungs. I'll turn off snapping here for a moment. Now what we want to do is we want to create a narrower satin stitch yet, but we want to maintain a stitch length. That is one of the most important parts of a narrower satin line. We want to maintain that stitch length of 1.5. And in order to accommodate that, so now I have here the 1.5. Now I will go and make the width, and I'll make this one 1 millimeter. And now I will go extension, ink stitch, satin tools, convert line to satin, and I'll change this color so they are not all the same. Select it and change the color. So this one is now 1 millimeter, and if we have ink stitch converted to a satin, then it will create the rungs perpendicular to the rails. But because we are so much narrower and we want to maintain a stitch length of 1.5. Okay, edit. So I got here, created one extra one here, and I'll set there the width to 1.5, and I'll change that one, the color, for a moment too. Okay, now we're going back to this one. So this one is the 1 millimeter wide. So then what we want to do is we want to maintain a stitch length of the 1.5. So in order to accomplish that, then what we'll do is we can go and I'm not sure, no, I'll have to use the shift key here to select all the nodes I want. So then what I want to do is I'll go and I'm dragging the dragging the curve. I don't want to drag the curve. I gotta select the nodes. Now I will go and I will move my rail and my rung is being moved. And as I'm zooming in now really close, and I will go and grab this one for a moment and put that really close by, and I'll turn that, and you can see now we just click that and we have a stitch length of more than the 1.5. So even if you want to go and you can use the measure tool also. So I'll that one stay on the 1.5, drag it out of the way a little. I'll select that one and turn the stroke width down for a moment, and now I'll zoom in and I'll go for the measure tool, and we can go from here I hardly ever use the measure tool. Edit, undo, delete. Okay, let's try that once more. The measure tool. So you just click and drag, and now you can see that gives a measurement of 2.37 mil. So there we go right away into a safer mode for creating stitches. So that is a key part for creating your satin narrower than the 1.5. The main thing is you want to maintain a stitch length of the 1.5 millimeter. And the reason for that is for your needle penetrations and for picking up the bobbin thread and to make the connections. That is why we really want to maintain a 1.5 millimeter width, or not the width but the stitch length. So keep that in mind for creating. And now to get out of, okay, so hope that will help you with some of your digitizing. So you can go and move that rail, and the movement of the rail, the reason for that is that you're getting the stitch angle going from one end to the other end nice and even. Because if you would go and okay, the node select. No, let me go and run this one in the simulator for a moment. Extension, ink stitch, params, and custom satin column. And there you can see that shows nice and even stitching from top to bottom. So I'll go and cancel out of this one. But now if I have here the rails, the end of the rails even, and this angle in here. Now I'll show you what happens if you run it that way. Now you can see here we have angled stitching, but here at the end we're going straight across again. So then at the ends we will not maintain the stitch length at the 1.5 millimeter or more or less. So but here in the center there we will. So that is the reason why I would go and move the rails so that we can maintain a stitch length from top to bottom all the way at that same distance away from each other. So do a few, and for each machine that will be a little bit different too again. The one performs better than the other. So do a few trials and see where you can get away with. So create a 1 millimeter line and create a 1.5 and do a 2 mil and play with your stitch angles a little bit and see what you can accomplish and how your machine performs on it. And I hope this will help you with your digitizing a little bit, and have fun and take care. And thanks for watching.